So Minnie Dlamini decided to take MacG to Equality Court and demands a handsome amount of 2.5 million rand. So Aggrieved television and radio personality Minnie Dlamini has dragged podcaster MacG, Mukwevho and Solomzi Phenduka to Equality Court for hate speech, unfair discrimination and harassment on the basis of sex or gender. So the move follows the outrageous suggestion Mukwevho made on his controversial podcast and chill with MacG that Dlamini's romantic relationships did not last, probably because her private parts have a repugnant smell. He also said Dlamini was a gold digger and she dates minted men to secure the bag. Mukwevho was hauled over the coals for his misogynistic remarks. He later issued a half-baked apology to Dlamini after the public lambasted him for his gibberish and degrading statement. In the papers she filed in court last week, Dlamini said she did not accept Mukwevho's apology and instead wants them to face the wrath of the law and pay her 1 million rand and 1.5 million rand to a women's organization. Penchant for vibing pure hate against women started on or about 3 December 2021 in the episode in which they interviewed rapper Uyajola 99 presenter Jub Malemo Marohanye. She said in the episode, which has been viewed more than 1.7 million times, Mukwevho asked the musician to reveal the names of the women he smashed. The word smashing, as used by the man in this episode, refers to having sexual intercourse. In a country with such excruciatingly high levels of gender-based violence, often involving sexual violence, the use of term is worse than just insensitive. It normalizes and even legitimates violence in man's acquisition of sexual satisfaction. Dlamini further said Mukwevho and Phenduka use of the term in the episode and in countless other podcasts reduces women to sexual objects to be dealt with by force. She said the podcasters aired another episode in which they defiantly defended the way they had conducted the interview with Jub after she publicly disapproved of their conduct. So in this episode, they heavily criticized me and complained that I should not be hosting the sports showground. I am not a real woman who knows about sports. Dlamini further said on or about February 17, 2022, Mukwevho and Phenduka had another episode in which they attempted to make further humor out of the breakdown of her marriage and claim she waited for money. First, it was a punishment for me having criticized them for using derogatory language about women. It was thus aimed at silencing me from speaking out against misogyny. Second, they stereotype women, and me in particular, as being interested in men only for their money and being unfaithful. When the richer man comes along, this was extremely degrading to me and women generally. They would not have said these things about me if I was a man. Thirdly, by stating that certain women are not wife material and should be a target of a hit and run. Mukwevho and Mr. Phenduka objectified women, making them nothing more than sexual acquisitions for men. Also, they again employed violent language to describe the sexual acquisitions, she said. So Dlamini said, continuing the theme of women being object of sexual acquisition by men, Mukwevho said that certain women were always up for sale, comparing them to commodities. Dlamini further said the duo aired the episode on May 2022 on the 12th, in which they said she dishes out sexual favors in exchange for money. The episode began with a discussion about businessman Edwin Sodi having a hit list of women with whom he had sex with. The conversation went on to list more women. This part of the episode describes women as though they are disposable goods who are nothing more than objects of man's sexual acquisition. The reference to a woman's physique as premium stock is also grossly objectifying. They turn the focus on to me personally and untrue rumors that I have been unfaithful to my husband at the time, Quinton Jones. They also accuse me untruthfully of cheating on previous partners, and indeed, when a richer man came along, they accused me of being prostitute. One of the oldest, crudest and commonest archetypes used to degrade women, she said. Dlamini argues that this constitutes hate speech. She said in an episode of Podcast and Chill with MacG, which she found to be the most disparaging of them all, Mukwevho suggested that her private parts may have been having a bad smell and that this is why she could not keep a man. First, there was a reference to men standing in line to sleep with me, again conveying that I am a prostitute. Then there is a suggestion that my former partner was only dating me because he wanted to experience me, again reducing me to the object of a man's sexual acquisition. Finally, there is the joke that my coochie smells, referencing my vagina, or rather referring to my vagina. To have my genitals made to be a topic of national discussion is already extremely demeaning to me and to women generally. But the joke that I might have poor genital hygiene is utterly humiliating and degrading, she said. Dlamini said although Mukwevho apologized for insulting her, there was no trace of contrition, remorse, or sincerity in the delivery of the apology. Mr. Mukwevho takes no accountability for the devastating effects of his words on me and on society. He does not even acknowledge that it was objectively offensive, only that some people might have been offended, as though they should not be universal revulsion of his remarks, or rather at his remarks. She said the podcaster's remarks have violated several provisions of the Equality Act and they should carry the can for the Fox pass. Dlamini demands that the two issue a court-approved apology to her and women at large. The respondents shall each within 6 months undergo 50 hours of gender sensitization sessions to be administered by the Commission of Gender Equality or an institution or person nominated by it. The respondents shall each within 6 months perform 100 hours of unpaid service at one or more institutions working against gender-based violence to be nominated by the Commission for Gender Equality. The respondents shall jointly and severally pay 1.5 million rand to Women for Change, a non-profit organization registered with the Department of Social Development within 90 days, Dlamini submitted. She also wants Mukwevho and Phenduka to pay her 1 million rand in damages for the impairment of her dignity.